Alrighty, so I have them torqued down to 6 foot-pounds. Like I said, I went with 6. Now I'm sure there's nowhere on here actually where it was stated. Let me look. I said, I don't know, where is it? You could read this box before you buy them, and you'll be able to get information. See, so it says click type accurate between plus or minus 4%. Jeez. So that's kind of wait, 4%. I thought it was 0.4 of a foot-pound. So 4%. Well, like I said, it could be plus or minus either direction. But again, I set it at 6. That should be perfect. Like I said, it requires 2 hands. You really want to feel it, and on these there's a break point to where you can watch that lever. You watch the arm of it. You hold it up pretty high, and then you'll see the break point. And being it's new, you don't hear it that well, but you know, right there, she's not moving. The handle is wiggling. The head and ratchet mechanism is not. So that's the break point. That's, you know, where it stops. They have the needle dial type ones. I love those, but they're just so hard to find these days and pretty expensive. Digital, unless it's a really good one, I wouldn't trust digital. You want to have something mechanical. Digital needs to be calibrated. Who knows who calibrated it if it's not a good one. And even if it is a good one, I don't like to trust digital because they're just too sensitive. I like mechanical. Like I said, there's one with a guide needle or the dial, which those used to be everywhere when I was younger. And today it's either the ratchet type, but I still see the one with the needle and the gauge on it, which I like that one. I just couldn't find it. What's up, little buddy? He's learning how to work on motorcycles. What up, Squeak? Do party hands? Wiggy, do party hands? Come on. He doesn't want to dance. You gonna... Okay, buddy. All right, but yeah, getting back to it. I'm going to pull this off. Where I had them torqued at seemed to be... I may have turned them maybe 1 foot-pound more, but for the amount of slipping I was getting between second, third, and fourth and fifth, I'm gonna say that these springs just aren't able to hold it. So I'm gonna actually install the stock one back on it because I didn't have any problem with slipping. It was just, I wanted a better clutch feel and I wanted better clutch reaction. But until I get the heavier duty ones, which they'll be here on Monday, and today's Friday, since I got it off, and if I wind up putting this the cover back on right now, and with the gasket, I'm not going to take the chance on trying to pull this cover off again and being able to use that gasket. And the gaskets won't be here till Monday as well. So while I got everything off, I'm just going to go ahead and put the stock one back on because the clamping pressure was fine. This spring here has enough tension. It's really strong, by the way, but has enough tension to hold that back, or hold that clutch in play. So what I'm going to do is take this one off, install the stock one, put my cover back on, and then I will wait until Monday to do this again. Anything I didn't forget to tell you? Oh yeah, the stock gasket. When you go ahead and pull your cover off, if yours is a stock clutch or the stock gasket, hopefully this gasket comes off in the cover and you could work on the cover on your bench. It's a lot easier, because if it's stuck on here, and I had a few spots that were, these may look like they're thick, but they're flat. And I just didn't want to start digging into this. You don't want to nick this surface here, because if you see the gasket, very thin. There's no silicone on here. You shouldn't need it unless you gouge or chip the shit out of this, and I would be very careful from doing that. But again, if the gasket stays on here, you have to take a razor and take your freaking time. I can't stress that enough. A razor, you know, you don't think it's that sharp, but it can cut into this alloy pretty easy. And, you know, if you gouge it enough, the gasket won't matter. You're gonna, excuse me, you're gonna have to use a lot of silicone. Again, if you're gonna have to use a razor to remove the gasket on there, just take your time, go really slow, be very patient, because you don't want anything to mess that up. And other than that, reassembly is exactly the same as disassembly. These are 7 foot-pounds. I'll tell you now, unless you have an Allen key with a ratchet as a socket, you're going to be using an Allen wrench like I did. So 7 pounds isn't hard to find. Again, as long as your surfaces are nice and flat on your cover and here on your case, torque them down until they stop. You know, also in a star pattern. Start here, go down here, come back over here, then go over here, and up here, then down here, just like a star. Seat them, and then go back and give them, I would say, 1/4 to a 1/2 turn each, and you should be good. Make sure your surface is dry all the way around. If you can notice, the bike is leaning that way. All the oil stays on that side on this particular motorcycle. If you put it on your double stand, you're going to get oil coming out. So put it on your one-sided stand, let it lean to that side. It'd be nice to do it for a day, so you make sure all the oil is, you know, flowed to the left side of the bike. Then you're not going to get anything dripped down. If you notice, there's nothing, no fresh drip. There's no oil coming out of here at all. It's, you know, all inside the case. So, all right, I'm going to stop talking your ear off, and I am going to get to pulling these Barnett off for now. Here, if you want to look at the number, that's a serial number right there for, mine's a 98. But I'm thinking they're all the way up until, I guess whenever they change the 1200, it's going to be the same exact number. The spring number is I think it's a 001 is the ending number. So, alrighty, that's it for tonight. Later.